So now we're down to layer 3, the network layer, and this is the very top layer of our media layer. So meaning this is the very top of the layers that's dealing with the network portion of the OSI model. So we're no longer dealing with what's happening on the computer. Now we're dealing with what's actually happening on our network. And so what is this layer all about? Well, this layer is all about routing. And when we talk about routing, we deal with routers and IP addresses and routing protocols. So again, what are the two main focuses of this? IP addressing, number one, and number two, routers and routing protocols. And let me go ahead and get my highlighting tool, and I want to highlight this. So our IP addresses and our routing and routing protocols. And we're talking explicitly about dealing with IP addresses to communicate across wide area networks. So remember from previous lectures, when you're dealing with routers, routers deal with IP addresses, and those are our logical addresses that's assigned to us by our network. This is not the MAC address, this is our logical IP address. And so you'll see down here in these two examples, computer 1 over here and computer 2 over here, is that we have their IP addresses listed underneath them. And we have the internet here being a wide area network, and what do we use to connect networks together? We use routers to connect networks together and communicate across a wide area network. So this layer is all about IP addressing, routing, and routing protocols. And remember, just to recap on the IP protocol, it's a primary networking protocol that's used across the internet. We've talked about IP version 4, and that's what these are down here, and I'll draw an arrow. So these addresses down here, IP version 4. We haven't talked about IPv6, but it also deals with IPv6 as well, and we'll talk about that for a little bit, but we're not going to go into details on it in this course. So that's what layer 3 is all about. Now we're going to jump down to layer 2, the data link layer, and we're going to talk about physical addressing. So just to give you a preface on that, layer 3 deals with our IP addresses, our logical addresses, and layer 2 deals with our MAC addresses, our physical addresses. So these two layers, once we get down to the media layer, these two layers are all about our addresses on our system. Remember, we have two addresses on our system. We have an IP address that's assigned by the network, and we have that physical MAC address that's burned into our network interface card on our computer. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the data link layer in our next video.